Head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, hates VR, apparently, and is a giant idiot because of it, allegedly, and I'm going to tell you why. Yesterday, I made a video about Microsoft's confirmations, reaffirmations, and basic headline hunting hype hopes about the Xbox Series X from a post by said head of Xbox, Phil Spencer. The video was about the clownishness of just latching on to the teraflop numbers, believing that they are the big, real-world relevant power number to argue about what machine will run games better. Short version, if you haven't watched it yet, teraflops are a fool's game. Long version, well, watch the video. That's the long version. Then go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell, thumbs up on that video and this video if you don't mind. We must fight the algorithm monster. It's always watching. So, Phil Spencer, in his brag piece about the Series X flagship, a piece entitled, "What You Can Expect from the Next Generation of Gaming." He detailed several technologies that can, and in fact will, make the Series X a very powerful and fast gaming device that I'm looking forward to poking at by the end of the year. The implication of the title of that article being that these advancements will lead into the next generation of gaming and the evolution of the gaming experience. Missing from all of that is VR, which by definition is an evolution of the gaming experience. It's an extra level of immersion, a different type of interactivity, a more deep type of interactivity potentially. But the same Phil Spencer who wrote this article has also gone on record saying about the upcoming next generation of gaming, "Nobody's asking for VR." Those were his exact words. Nobody is asking for VR, which either makes Phil Spencer wildly out of touch, or a complete idiot, or a massive jackass trying to devalue the concept of VR in its entirety because they, Xbox, don't have a VR solution for console gaming like Sony do with the PlayStation VR. So they'd rather not talk about it at all than having to talk about it and have pointed out that they don't have anything. Because, Philip Spencer, the fact is people do want VR. They're demonstrating this by buying and using VR all over the goddamn place. And this is demonstrated in the fact that VR adoption has just passed an interesting milestone. 100 VR games have now exceeded $1 million in revenue each. This is based on data gathered from the major VR storefronts, Steam, PlayStation Network, Oculus PC, Oculus Rift, and comes from Tripatat Chanavasan. I hope I'm saying that name right. They estimate that a total of 106 VR games have now exceeded $1 million in revenue each, and nearly half of that has come within the last 12 months alone. So VR is growing quickly. Now, Titatat has a vested interest in making VR look like it's growing fast and telling people how fast it's growing because they're literally a VR fund investor, being a partner in the Venture Reality Fund who invest in early-stage VR, AR, and AI companies. So they want people to know that this is a, super-duper awesome thing that's growing fast and people love it. Just like Phil Spencer wants you to know that all the people who work for Xbox really love the new Xbox. Titatat also report that the top 7 VR titles have exceeded $10 million in revenue each, the strongest among them pulling in $60 million in revenue all on its own. These results, they say, prove VR is no longer a novelty, or in their words, a developer's playground. It's a proper platform in its own right, offering real opportunity to developers and investors, and by extension, real fun for actual end users. And I've personally seen side effects of this growth in interest in VR. The various videos and reviews around VR that I've personally made recently saw a noticeable spike in views after sitting pretty passive for a while. This spike came, predictably enough, immediately after Half-Life Alyx was announced. It is now looming less than a month away. It is easily the most anticipated VR title ever, and it is considered by many to be the first true AAA flagship VR game. And with even most of the super successful VR titles to date being from indie devs and smaller publishers, that's not necessarily an unfair painting of the situation. So, with VR demonstrating in dollars, which is all the people that Phil has to report to care about, demonstrating in the market that the demand is there and growing, and with end users themselves showing such strong interest in titles like Half-Life Alyx that VR headsets have been literally consistently selling out since that announcement, even before that certain contagious health issue in China slowed down production. So why is Phil Spencer so determined to devalue, dismiss, and just ignore VR and build straw man arguments that, oh, no, nobody's asking for it, nobody wants VR? Bullshit! The numbers are out there, you idiot! And you can very safely bet that PlayStation will be and is doubling down on PlayStation VR in the coming generation or refresh. We have already seen patents filed from Sony for very desperately needed brand new controllers featuring modern technology and sophisticated sensors like finger tracking to replace the frankly terrible current shitty PlayStation VR controllers. Why they recycled their janky-ass Move controllers for their brand new VR system, I will never understand. They never worked all that well, and why they thought they would work really well for VR is beyond me. Dumb. But Microsoft, or more specifically Xbox, seem to be just sleeping on VR. And I say Xbox specifically rather than Microsoft because Microsoft at large have been investing in AR and VR. They've got the HoloLens for the more businessy side of things and the good, very affordable, but now frankly outclassed Windows MR VR headsets from various manufacturers. Dell and Asus and Lenovo, they all make them. Even Samsung have a version of it. In fact, many expected when the Xbox One X was about to launch that it would support the Windows MR headsets. It certainly has the power to do so, and of course so does the Series X that has more than enough power to do VR quite nicely. And the Windows MR headsets would easily work because they only need a HDMI port and a USB connection. That's it. They don't need any other external devices at all. It's cleaner, faster, simpler, and better than PSVR's clumsy, janky setup with their stupid camera and their janky-ass Move controllers. But after claiming no one is asking for VR, Phil Spencer did walk back that comment a bit in a later interview with Gamertag Radio podcast. Instead, he clarified, saying that what he meant to say was Series X wasn't supporting VR on day one. He goes on to say, I wanted to be clear with our customers where our focus was so that if somebody was waiting for us to bring out a VR headset for Series X at the launch or something, we're not going to do that, he said. Which feels like a bit of post-traumatic stress disorder because when they launched the Xbox One, they very famously didn't focus on pure gaming and people got real angry about that, sports and TV and home entertainment. People like, no, we buy these things to play games on. So I think that's made him a bit gun-shy about talking anything at all except pure standard normal gaming. So despite Microsoft at large having technology on shelves right now that works great for VR, is very affordable for VR, it's better than PlayStation VR both on a headset and controller technology level, Phil Spencer has shown basically no interest in VR and dismisses it as unwanted, deluding himself and trying to delude others that people don't want VR. The Windows MR headsets are ready to go right now. They have very effective inside-out tracking for full room scale headset and controller tracking. There's no need for janky external cameras like I was talking about before that PlayStation VR needs. It doesn't need satellite tracking devices like the Steam VR product and most HTC Vive product needs. Microsoft were way ahead of the trend with this inside-out tracking technology that only later other big boys like Oculus and HTC finally playing catch-up on. And in fact, now, as it stands, they've kind of surpassed that by using multiple cameras for even better inside-out tracking. And yet, Xbox still sleeps. Phil Spencer sleeps. Sure, the install base for VR on PC or console, or even the newer trend of premium-level standalone self-contained headsets like the Oculus Quest, which is doing quite well and consistently sells out, is still quite small compared to the size of the user base for traditional screen gaming. But just to sit around doing literally nothing while every other competitor you have out there in the marketplace and every competitor you will face is advancing, evolving, learning, and perhaps most importantly of all, building their user bases who are out there right now spending money, investing in software, in storefronts, and on technologies that Xbox don't control. It just seems like a very stupid business decision to not even have an option out there. I don't know. Maybe Phil Spencer is a bit gun-shy about splitting focus away from pure gaming like what happened with the original Xbox launch that cost them extremely dearly. Maybe he's just playing his cards close to his chest. And all this apparent complete indifference to the fastest growing sector in new technology gaming is just a misdirect, and there's something amazing coming for Xbox VR. Then again, Xbox are kind of super shit at actually keeping secrets on what they're working on, so probably not the case. More likely, Phil is just a bit out of touch, somehow. Then again, maybe I'm wrong, and VR will just be a fad that will die out in a few years, but people have been claiming that for a while now, and it's still growing. Then again, VR hasn't grown as quickly as I originally predicted a few years ago, but it certainly has grown steadily in several markets, and over the last 12 months, it's started accelerating that growth. It's demonstrating the numbers I was talking about before. On PC, on console, and standalone headsets, they're all now affordable, popular, easy to use, good VR experiences that people are adopting, and in fact, it's becoming so popular that supply can't quite meet demand. But I guess time will tell. Are you people interested in Xbox VR? Is Phil Spencer telling the truth? Do Xbox gamers not care about VR? I don't know, man. Somehow I doubt it. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.